everyone, and welcome to Tiresome. I almost got hit by a Peugeot driver in heat, but let's have a little catch-up, shall we? Let's have a little update on what's been happening with this car, indeed, the Scimitar. Okay, everyone. Right, I know my face is pretty dark. I didn't think about that. I should have put a light on the camera is what I should have done, but I didn't. So, welcome to Gloomy Mike! Let's just have a quick run through on what I have done to the Scimitar, so you know, keep it up to speed. What the situation is now in my vehicular life, where it's going in the future maybe. Let's have a go at that. First things first, I replaced the wipers recently. The wipers needed replacing because, well, the old ones that I had on there were really on there just to sort of tick the box. They were new, but I did pay £1.95 for them, so they were not necessarily the most effective, and they kind of flopped sideways when they wiped sometimes. Anyway, I spent 20 quid with QRG, and Nigel actually sent me these beautiful new old stock Reliant wipers made by a company called Vista. They are stainless steel, and they work fabulously. However, on their first outing, they kept, well, the wiper that sits on top, if you like, was drooping beneath the other one, so it kept getting tangled up, and when it got tangled up it would stop the wiper mechanism from moving entirely, so that was a bit shit. Oh fucking hell, they need to sort these roads out. That was shit, but the good thing is that I just pulled over, pulled the whole wiper arm off the spline and put it back on a few notches higher, and now it's absolutely fine. What else did I do? Well, actually, yes, there's a good one. The brake switch. At the same time as ordering the wipers, I ordered a new brake switch. It turns out mine was faulty, and, well, I don't know how long I haven't had brake lights for, but I fitted that, and unfortunately, that also wasn't just a fit and forget sort of scenario. I screwed it in and, you know, connected the wires back up, but the brake lights still didn't work. And it turns out that you actually have to wind it out a few threads. You can't just have it, you know, tight as a nut. So I'm actually going to have to put a few washers or whatever on the thread of the switch in order to keep that in there. As it is right now, it works, it's fine, it's fully operational. But just not how I would like it. I would like it to be a little bit more secure in there. As you can see, the older one was completely gone, so it's no surprise as to why that one's done. Here we go, just going on to a dual carriageway now. So along with that, actually, oh, ready? Overdrive, everyone, ready? Jesus, there it is. Along with that, one of the things that I did was replace the fuel pump. Now, it's one of those circumstances where I actually had a new old stock pump, and I already had it in my shed. So finally, all this hoarding had paid off, and I was able to use one of these components that had been sitting in my shed for years. But it turns out it was the wrong pressure or something. Either way, it was completely overwhelming the carburetor. It blew the lid gasket of the carburetor, and luckily another sort of project that I had lined up was to change it to an electronic fuel pump. So I did just that, with a fuel regulator in place, and indeed that just comes on with the ignition, it ticks away, and it's capable of like 12 psi, but you only need 3 to run a 38D gas, and to be honest with you, I don't know why, but mine really doesn't like 3 psi. It's actually happy around 1.5. The headlights were a bit dodgy. They were sort of coming on and off before, but I fixed that. It's my fault using Scotch locks. Don't use Scotch locks in your systems, everyone. Yeah, they're horrendous things. The temperature gauge, I mean, this time of year, I'm filming this right, well, I mean, this video's coming out the same day, I believe, so yeah, it's March and it's not warm. and I haven't had to use the electronic fan at all. The tank size in the Scimitar is just insanely big. I put, what was it, like £100 in, well, £98 in, and it went just over half full. It's so funny. However, saying that, I've been driving it. I did that weekend. I went out for a drive around Cornwall, and I've been driving it all week to work and back, and it's just below half. So it's used some of a tank. I don't know, but that's not bad. And I haven't been babying it either. I love this car. I love driving this car. It's why I swapped it to a manual in the first place, because I think it is actually a really good sort of driver's car, or at least it has potential. Oh man, you rev it out and it's so good. But then you just pop it down into third gear or fourth gear, whatever, and you just trundle along, and that Ford Essex just gives you all the torque you're ever going to need for at least road use, you know? It's so cool. Look at that. There. It's a villa. In Plymouth, no less. Oh, isn't that funny? Oh, it's so quirky. Otherwise, the car hasn't changed at all since you last saw it on the channel. I can't even remember what video that was, to be honest. Probably trying to get it to some sort of car show or something for the brakes. The brakes have been absolutely fine ever since. I did have to bleed them once more after that, and that then makes them, it just made them a lot more sort of, you could have driven it as it was before, and indeed I did, but you didn't have that much confidence in it. But after I bled them a second time round, once they had settled, it was confidence inspiring, which is kind of what you want from a car such as this, which only has about 140 horsepower, but it's because it weighs about a ton, you know. At least this one, I don't have any back seats or interior really at all, well, at all, full stop. I've just got 2 front seats and a steering wheel. I would really like to have those blower motors working, because the blowers don't work at all to get the air into the car. You're just left with whatever wisp of air comes up from the gearbox tunnel because it hasn't got a gator on the gear stick. There's people running out into the road now. See if we can get them, that's 10 points. And a cyclist, lovely. But yeah, getting those blowers working is definitely on my list as well. At the moment, there's no real air moving, and indeed the windows will mist up. Well, not only because of the moisture inside, but also when I get in the car as well. So yeah, that needs to be sorted. Even though I'm probably just going to get it done just in time for summer, which is a bit annoying. But at least it'll be ready for next year. That's the main thing. It's about proofing it ready for next year. I did some mileage on a dual carriageway, which was one of the things I was worried about. The BMW with its cruise control and everything is just so good at just crunching the miles. And I was worried this wouldn't... well, Scimitars on paper are good at that, but I didn't know if this one was going to be good at that. But with the overdrive fully functioning, working well, it not using too much fuel, and you know, it's comfortable, man. I know I don't have much interior, but I've managed to eliminate all the smells and everything like that. That was really quite dangerous, I guess you could say. We're talking exhaust fumes, but because we got rid of all that, we're left with a car that's ready to have its tracking done 100%, but also to crunch some miles, and I think I would be doing it a disservice if I didn't let it do that. So there we are, everyone. A little update, a couple of bits I've done off camera, what's happening in the future, and indeed some stuff for you to expect as well. There is a bunch of other stuff I'm doing to the Scimitar that I haven't mentioned yet, that I have the parts for already, and hopefully I will be able to get round to those in the near future. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to more Scimitar action, the Scimitar being even better than it was last year, and driving it more, putting some more miles on this gorgeous car and treating it, and hopefully it treats me some more. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I've been Mike, and I'll see you later.